Hi, evening guys. I hope everyone's keeping well. I'm back for another video. This is a thread response to a video that was put up by Jonas Vinyl Stockholm in Stockholm, obviously. Um, yeah, I love these kind of threads. So he showed UFOs, aliens, space trips, anything uh, alien or UFO like on vinyl. So that's either the music, the theme, or the artwork, obviously on the front of the jacket. Yeah, if you don't know Jonas, go and check out his channel. He's somebody I discovered a little while back. We sort of found out that we got quite similar tastes. He likes a lot of kind of progressive folk music. He's also into kind of indie sort of post-punk stuff that's a bit left field, psychedelia, etc. Really, really interesting, eclectic tastes he has. But as I say, it kind of appeals to me because there's quite a bit of crossover there. So yeah, if any of that floats your boat, go over and check out his channel. It'd be well worth your while. So yeah, just a bit of a caveat first of all on this one. I did mention to Jonas after I'd watched his video that I thought that this was a theme that had been done before, about 2 or 3 years ago. So that said, I thought that he expanded on that idea. And of course, there's people coming and going all the time in the VC, and I'm sure a lot of people who watched his video, or certainly a fair number of them, had not seen the original videos when they were floating around. I can't remember who did it before, but it really doesn't matter. It's all a bit of fun, and you know, if a theme's interesting, it's well worth doing again, even if it's at the risk of repeating yourself. So yeah, so as I say, I'm pretty sure that I did this. I did it, or I did a similar thread. Obviously, it wasn't quite the same a few years ago. So apologies if I'm showing any repeat records here. I'm sure that in a fair number of my videos, I've repeat shown albums, albeit in different contexts over the years anyway. So, but yeah, so let's go for it. Okay, so the first one is this is Vagabonds of the Western World. So this is Thin Lizzy from 1973. You can see with the kind of spaceship there. Great album this, from their kind of early period. And obviously you've got the kind of Jim Fitzpatrick cover, it's a cartoon cover, which obviously he did quite a number of their album sleeves. Really interesting artist. Yeah, this is a reissue, came out a few years ago on, I think it's white. Is it white, or it's yellow vinyl. Great album. Okay, next one is a kind of a lost classic, but I think quite a lot of people will know this or know of it if they don't already own it anyway. So this is Jim Sullivan and UFO. Not sure if this was the original cover. I think this was this is a later cover. But yeah, this is an album released in 1969. I think he did do another album after this, but this is his famous kind of psychedelic album. So yeah, Jim Sullivan, American singer-songwriter, guitarist, troubadour, um, from I think from LA, and yeah, famously disappeared in the desert, Nevada, I think it was, or New Mexico. Ironically for UFOs, in 1975. I think all they found was his guitar, a copy of the album, and I mean it's unbelievable, really, given the sort of the nature of this album as well. The idea that kind of, there's a romantic notion that, he could have been abducted by aliens or whatever. He probably wasn't, but it's kind of interesting to hypothesize about stuff like that. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's just a lovely album. It often gets kind of criticized, or people, so haters say, "Oh, it's a hipster record." I don't care, quite honestly. There's quite a few hipster records out there that I really don't like, and I certainly wouldn't buy them just because they're hipster records. Unless I like the music, I'm not interested. The songwriting, I think, is fantastic on this. I think he's got a great voice. So I mean, if you like kind of Americana folk with a sort of psychedelic edge, I think you'd really, really enjoy this. So that's Jim Sullivan and UFO. This is a Light in the Attic reissue, by the way, and it comes with a booklet and everything, and it's really, really reasonable. I think you can buy it still on Amazon. Okay, next, a rock group that I have a real soft spot for. I've seen them in concert a couple of times over the years, and yeah, really, really enjoy their music. So this is Hawkwind and Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do. This is their third studio album. This is actually a recent reissue that I bought. I think it was a 50th anniversary copy. Great artwork, space fantasy artwork there. Yeah, Hawkwind, the inventors of space rock, as it was in the kind of early 70s. This, of course, this album was a precursor and backbone of their classic Space Ritual tour from the end of 1972, which came out in 73, which is kind of cited as almost, like one of the greatest live albums ever. Tops quite a few lists and so forth. This is a really, really nice reissue of this album, sort of with the original foil cover, and comes with a few goodies. The original sort of cartoon inner sleeve, and also the original space fantasy kind of poster. So really, really nice. Okay, and then another Hawkwind album as well. Later, this is a later album. This is Levitation. Obviously, you've got there's again a spaceship on the front there. Yeah, this one, I say, from 1980. I think this is a really good album. Definitely one of their better albums, certainly from the 80s. And you've got, interestingly, Ginger Baker, obviously, who was in Cream, guest drumming on this. So quite interesting album. So yeah, it's again a 80s reissue, not the original one that came on blue vinyl. Okay, classic children's stuff here. Certainly those in the UK of a certain age will remember this. So this is Peter Firmin and Oliver Postgate, wonderful clangers. Originally came out in 1969. So about this kind of planet full of these little woolly mammalian creatures who live on this kind of moon type planetoid, and all sorts of space junk and debris comes and lands on the planet, and they go out to investigate, and sort of they have things like music boats, and there's like an iron chicken that kind of orbits the planet. So these guys on the cover here, that's Oliver Postgate, who wrote it and filmed it, and then this guy's called Peter Firmin, who was the guy who built all the little spaceships and the effects and everything. Just wonderfully charming, fantastic. It was all kind of made in a barn, sort of in the middle of the country, on sort of old-fashioned cameras, stop motion animation, old school stuff. Wonderful nostalgia for kids. I think they've been kind of reissued. You can get them on DVD and so forth now. But famously did Bagpuss after this, which was even more famous. So and the music's beautiful, kind of sort of celestial, classical, sort of classical music from Vernon Elliott as well, of which this is obviously the soundtrack for, released on wonderful Johnny Trunk's label. He always digs out these obscure soundtracks and things and puts them out. So that's the Clangers. Okay, and a bit of electronica here from 1980. So this is David Vorhaus, and this is Re-Entry. So this is the third album in the White Noise series. First album came out in 1969 and was a sort of electronic, groundbreaking album with sort of Brian Hodgson, Delia Derbyshire doing sound effects on it, and electronic bits and pieces. And then there was a second album released on a different label that was just David Vorhaus on his own, which was White Noise 2, Concerto for Synthesizer. Quite a difficult one to get into, that one. And then this one from 1980, where he's pushing his this instrument that he designed called a kaleidophone. It was a kind of unique kind of sound as a sort of synthesized instrument. This is kind of a concept album of a sort of space exploration of a sort of in a spherical ship kind of being jettisoned from Earth out into the cosmos. And the music's very evocative of that wonderful cover. I remember spending years trying to find a copy of this, and it's always the way, once you find an album, then suddenly they just seem to be everywhere. So interesting one to get on Pulse Records. I'll show you the label because it's a really nice label. The kind of mushroom on there. So that's David Vorhaus, Re-Entry, White Noise 3. Okay. Okay, a bit of Canterbury here with the marvellous ex-gong guitar player Steve Hillage. This is Motivation Radio from 1977. Quite a commercial one for Steve. I think this was his third album, if I'm not mistaken. And this is kind of one that you see everywhere, very easy to pick up. But obviously you've got the UFOs up there. And the wonderful, oh me, oh my, there's a light in the sky on side one. So wonderful stuff. Okay, and then into the 80s, and we have the great artist that is Thomas Dolby. This is his third studio album, Aliens Ate My Buick. Oh, what a fabulous sleeve that is. So you've got this kind of space flying saucers up here, and then you've got this kind of American B movie kind of aesthetic here, like the 50s, with aliens eating the Buick there, and there's Thomas saving the girl, both of them looking imperiled. Yeah, great stuff. Wonderful artist. Okay, and then to end, another one from I think this is 79, end of 79. So this is the pop band M. So yeah, famous for the single Pop Music. It's not a bad album. It's not the greatest album in the world, but it's a fun listen every now and again. Einstein on the back there. So that's it, guys. So yeah, apologies if those who stay with my channel have kind of seen all these records before, but I thought it was fun to do, and I wanted to support Jonas's channel. So yeah, thanks Jonas for doing that. Go, like I say, go over and check him at Vinylstockholm, and yeah, because he shows some interesting music. So that's it. Okay, going to a record fair at the Motorcycle Museum just up the road from here on Sunday. So I'll be looking forward to that, because that's always a really, really good show. And I've historically always got some really good records from there. So looking forward to that one. So that will probably be my next video, which I'll do. I may do it on the Sunday, or I'll leave it until the early part of next week. But in the meantime, guys, take care, and thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.